Hello, hi everyone, Nicholas here. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Sunday. Just a quick update and talk about Bitcoin and how countless experts in this world are calling it a bubble, but including Jamie Dimon, which is a Chase CEO, I believe, and then he called it a bubble just before the price dropped and he bought the dip. So he bought a lot of Bitcoin himself, and he was actually accused for the market manipulation or not a sabotage, but framing the market and prices in order to profit. Anyways, the point is, Bitcoin, is it a bubble or not? We had numerous bubbles in real bubbles in history. Some of them were the bubble in the South Sea, was about 1700s, and then Mississippi bubble, which was I think 1730s or something. Then most famous bubble, I believe it was the tulip bubble, when Dutch traders draw tulip prices to unimaginable heights, and then at the very peak, I believe the tulip price, one tulip, was priced as a riverside house in Amsterdam, and that's exactly when everything went down. And just before that, traders and investors invested into it, thinking that the price will still go up. And then most recent bubbles that people know more about are dot-com bubble and the actual housing bubble. Dot-com was the end of 90s and the beginning of 2000, and then the housing bubble was mid 2000s. um, the fact is the other bubbles throughout history, not these last two, were just bubbles. That's all they were. But the last two actually regained a lot of its value, their value, after they crashed, they popped, so to speaking, and then they regained a lot of value. And there's a big difference, and the reason why that happened. See, with the tulips, there's no intrinsic value with it, and the price was just drawn to insanely high levels by traders, and then when everybody realized that there's no value to it and there's nothing more to a tulip than just being a tulip, then it just burst that bubble. And then while the internet and dot-com bubble was in fact a bubble, but not in its real sense, because as I said, it regained a lot of value. In the Nasdaq index, when the bubble popped, I believe it was around 5,000 something, but it's actually more now. So it took about 15 years to stabilize the market, but the value is more. And the fact and the reason behind this is because internet has real unmeasurable potential. And all these, okay, despite the fact that every company that has .com in its name in during the bubble growing was called a profitable company, and everybody thought it would be worth millions or billions of dollars. That caused the problem. And even these .com companies, they didn't really have a business plan or a business model whatsoever. They just thought when they draw and they attract enough people, they will figure out how to profit, and most of them haven't, and they went bankrupt. But others have actually survived, and those are the companies. They are actually, we can say they caused the price and the Nasdaq index to go back up and even surpass the bubble value. Those are companies like Amazon, like PayPal, like Google, and companies like those, because the real potential behind internet is really unmeasurable, really high. Um, the difference between a bubble and an S curve is, and this, whenever new technology adoption resembled an S curve throughout the last century. Let me explain that. The S curve is something like every new technology at the beginning is is new, as I said, and it takes time for people to actually accept it, to see real value in it, to learn about it, and once they do it and learn about it, then the adaption, when the awareness reaches critical mass, then the adaption goes almost straight up vertically, and that's that S curve. However, the S curve is called the S curve because it has that vertical climbing period when the global acceptance and the global um, awareness reaches its critical mass. And then once everybody gets familiar with it, it will just come to a plateau. But the fact is that during that growth, um, it can reach really unimaginable prices, and that's not a bubble, because as long as it's climbing, and once it reaches the global awareness and acceptance, that's where it's gonna stay. And exactly for those reasons, Bitcoin resembles a lot more an S curve than a bubble. I'm not saying it is a bubble or it isn't, but you think about it, like every new technology, first it needs to be accepted. People need to learn about it, become aware of it. And once it reaches awareness, critical awareness, it's going to be globally accepted. And I don't know if Bitcoin is what I think it is. This will definitely happen. I don't know if it's going to happen now, but it seems like it might be happening right now, because as you can see, more and more countries are accepting it. More and more companies, more institutions even accepting Bitcoin as regular means of payment, and that will just attract more people to learn about it. When more people learn about it, they become aware of it, and when that critical mass of awareness is reached, then everybody's going to accept it, and it's going to skyrocket the value of Bitcoin, and that's when that S curve is going to happen. It might be just now, it might be that we are currently in something that resembles a bubble, so it might pop and then it crash and then grow and crash and grow. But once it happens, it will go to unimaginable prices. And I'm sorry for making this video a bit longer. You can really talk about these topics, particularly Bitcoin, for hours. I'm just trying to make it short. So I'm gonna post a link to a very useful article talking exactly about this, about previous bubbles, these bubbles throughout history, and why .com and housing bubbles were not really bubbles, because they regained a lot of their value after they crashed and then the market recovered. So you make a conclusion, and you form your own opinion about Bitcoin, what it is, and if that S curve is happening now, it's going to happen in a few years, but it will happen. And I bet you want to be there when it happens. I mean, involved in a Bitcoin. So I hope you like this video. It's a bit longer. As I said, I'm sorry about that. I hope you got some value out of this. Make it a great Sunday. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Go live your dreams. Bye bye.